Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here because we are diving into something literally almost everyone faces, but honestly, very few feel they've truly mastered: public speaking. Whether you're running a massive board meeting, pitching a wild new idea to your team, or just trying to introduce yourself without sounding like a robot, your ability to communicate with confidence is totally your greatest asset. In this Explainer, we're going to unpack a super clear, actionable toolkit. We're going to take public speaking from this huge source of dread and turn it into a powerful, confident skill using a straightforward, learn-by-doing, grow-through-feedback approach.
But hey, before we jump into the solutions, let's just address the elephant in the room. What makes public speaking so terrifying in the first place? It's like this universal anxiety, isn't it? The fear of suddenly blanking out, the worry you're going to use a million filler words, or just that overwhelming rush of adrenaline that literally makes your hands shake. It is completely normal. But here's the secret. Conquering this isn't about being born with some magical, innate charisma. It's really just about understanding the mechanics. We're going to completely dismantle that fear by looking at public speaking as a series of simple, manageable building blocks.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the speech foundation.
Think of your speech exactly like building a house. If you don't have a rock-solid foundation, everything else is just going to feel super wobbly. Giving yourself a predictable structure is actually the absolute fastest way to give yourself immediate confidence. The anatomy of a successful speech always breaks down into 3 simple parts. Step 1, your opening. You have exactly 15 seconds to hook your audience. Seriously, do not waste this on a long, boring, "thank you so much for having me." Start with a provocative question, a quick story, or a bold statement that makes them sit up. Step 2 is your body. Keep it focused. Develop just 2 to 3 main points and back every single one up with a specific example or hard evidence. And Step 3, your conclusion. Restate your core message so they remember it and close with a really clear call to action. Tell them exactly what you want them to do next.
Okay, moving right along to Section 2, mastering your delivery.
So you've got this beautifully structured script. You know exactly what you want to say. You might have literally spent days agonizing over those perfect words. But here's a totally staggering fact. Only 7% of your impact actually comes from those words. No way, right? A massive 93% of how your message lands is entirely nonverbal. 38% is vocal, your tone, pace, and volume, and an incredible 55% is purely visual, meaning your body language and facial expressions.
Let's break down that 38% vocal impact first, using what we call the 4 Ps of vocal variety. The first P is pace. You absolutely have to vary your speed to keep people engaged. Like if you're incredibly passionate about an idea, you might physically speed up your narration to show that energy and excitement, so the audience feels the rush with you. But then, when you really want to make a crucial point, you deliberately slow down. Our second P is pitch. You want your voice to naturally rise and fall, exactly like it does when you're just having a fun conversation with a buddy. If you don't modulate your pitch dynamically, you're going to end up sounding completely flat, like a GPS system reading a eulogy. And trust me, if you don't sound interested in what you're saying, they definitely won't be either.
The third P is pause. Wow, is silence powerful? Try using a literal dramatic moment of silence before and after your biggest point. By simply waiting a second, you completely force the audience to lean in. You give them a chance to digest what you just dropped on them, and you prove that you are totally in control of the room.
We wrap up the vocal stuff with the 4th P, which is power. Now, this doesn't mean yelling at people. It just means projecting your voice confidently to fill whatever physical space you're in. When you push your voice to reach the back corners of the room, that volume naturally signals absolute authority. It tells everyone you believe your message deserves to be heard.
Now we shift to the biggest piece of the pie, the visual 55% of your delivery. Our core mantra here is, stand tall, move with purpose. It's fascinating, but when you physically ground yourself, pulling those shoulders back and planting your feet firmly, your brain actually takes a cue from your posture. Next time you're in front of a room, plant your feet. You're actively signaling internal confidence straight to your own brain.
Mechanically, think of it this way. Please don't just scan the room back and forth like a nervous lighthouse. Actually hold eye contact with one person for a full thought, say 3 to 5 seconds, before moving to someone else. Keep your hands visible with open gestures. Ditch the crossed arms or hiding your hands in your pockets. And most importantly, square your body to the room. You are the presentation. The slides are just your backup dancers.
Which brings us to Section 3, conquering nerves and habits.
Look, even if your structure is flawless and your delivery is on point, raw nerves and bad habits are still going to pop up. It's just a completely natural part of being human. But here's the massive mindset shift. You have to reframe the feeling. When your heart is pounding, your brain goes, "Oh no, I'm terrified." But physiologically, fear and excitement are practically identical. Nerves are just energy. So instead of fighting it, channel that adrenaline into pure enthusiasm. Shift your focus away from how do I look right now and toward what value am I giving this audience today?
And that leads us right into the dreaded counter effect. When nerves hit, our default reaction is to rush and rely on filler words to plug the awkward gaps while our brain desperately searches for the next sentence. The antidote to that weak filler isn't just trying to speak better, it's silence. A deliberate, powerful pause commands immense presence, while an just eludes your message.
So, if you want to cure those ums and ahs for good, here are 3 super actionable steps. First, replace the filler with a silent pause. And remember, that silence feels 10 times longer in your head than it actually does to the audience. Second, literally just slow down. Rushing is almost always the root cause because your mouth is moving faster than your brain. Third, record yourself every single week. It might be slightly agonizing to watch at first, but awareness is step 1. Seeing those ums drop week by week is a huge confidence booster.
All right, let's wrap this up with Section 4, the practice cycle.
I want to totally reassure you right now, unshakable confidence on a stage is not some innate talent you're just born with. It's an ongoing, continuous loop of growth. Phase 1 of that loop is prepare. Thorough preparation is the absolute birthplace of confidence. You really can't fake knowing your material. But preparing doesn't just mean silently reading notes at your desk. It means rehearsing out loud, standing up, pacing the room, and getting the physical muscle memory of those words in your mouth.
Once you're prepped, we jump to Phase 2, present. This is where you just get up and do it. Step up at every single opportunity you get. It really doesn't have to be a giant keynote. It could be a quick icebreaker, doing impromptu table topics, or honestly, just stepping up to run your standard weekly team meeting.
Right after you present, you immediately enter Phase 3, get evaluated. Do not shy away from this. You absolutely must frame constructive feedback as a gift. Seriously, think of it like having spinach in your teeth you'd want a friend to tell you, right? Having a colleague point out that you were swaying back and forth or dropping your pitch is incredibly valuable data because, hey, you can't fix what you aren't aware of.
And finally, Phase 4, improve. You take that feedback, apply it, and close the loop. Every single time you give a speech, no matter how small the room or how quick the talk, is just one more turn of this powerful wheel. With every turn, the nerves get quieter, the filler words drop off, and your natural, confident voice just gets stronger.
So we've covered the rock-solid foundations, that staggering 93% impact of your visual and vocal delivery, exactly how to tame those pesky filler words, and the continuous practice cycle. I'll leave you with this one final thought to chew on. Are you ready to stop running from the anxiety and instead turn those nerves into your absolute greatest source of energy? The tools are right here for the taking. Now it's on you to step away from the screen, stand tall, and start practicing out loud. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and hey, happy speaking.